All right, thanks, Chris. Well, you know, one part you gotta have when you got a wedding is flowers. So we're talking with Mr. Darryl Humphreys, and he's from Flowers by Darryl, and he has brought some beautiful pieces to show us this morning, and we're appreciative that you're here this morning, Darryl.
Good to be here.
So tell us, what are some things to keep in mind with flowers when brides are trying to plan out their weddings?
Well, the first thing is, I guess everybody wants to know is your budget.
Of course.
And then another thing is what type of flowers they would like to have. If they're available at the time of their wedding. Another thing is color. We want to get the color theme coordinated with their flowers. The location where their ceremony is going to be or the reception is going to be. And trying to get in order a decor theme for their wedding. For not only the body flowers, but for the reception flowers as well.
Okay. Now I got to ask you, you mentioned the type of flower. Are certain flowers only available at certain seasons, or can you get any flower at any time?
Well, most flowers you can mostly get, but there are flowers that are in season, and you have to get them during that period of time, you know, when you want to order those, and give us enough time to get them, you know, for the wedding. So that's a very important aspect you want to look at is your seasonal flowers.
Sure. Can you talk about the ones you brought here today? This one is just beautiful right here.
This right here is a dual piece. This is what we call a pew marker that you can hang on the pews when you're doing a ceremony, to hang on your pews or the chairs that you're having an aisle for your brides to walk down. Or you can hang these on the front door of your reception or at the church. This can be used in several cases right here. This is made in a cone of moss, and we have the moss balls and the burlap ribbon. Burlap ribbon has become a very favorite thing to use now. And you would think burlap would not be formal, but it can be worked into a formal look as well. And these are all fresh greens, just attached to the moss cone with the moss balls. It makes a very lovely accent for your wedding.
It really is, and I just love how it's so natural and very organic. And the moss, you wouldn't think moss could be beautiful, but this is gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
And you've just done a lovely job. It really is an art to be able to put things together like this. It's just incredible. So you do so many different things like this. Talk about some of the other ways that you can make pew hangers and door hangers.
Well, there's several things we can do. We can incorporate it with ribbons. I'm a very natural person. I like greens, especially from the yard. I like to do things that look more natural, that's more appealing to the eye. And just instead of just sticking a piece of leather leaf, you know, I like to add things that nature offers us, such as lotus pods and artichokes and you know, fresh greens from out of the woods, such as pine, magnolia, ivy, that kind of thing. It all works up great. It's a natural look. It's a pleasing look too.
Now, talking about being on a budget, if a flower that you want is not in season, do you think that would rise the price a little bit?
It will. It determines where we have to get the flowers from. I know it doesn't seem fair, but it seems like flowers from Holland are cheaper than flowers from California.
Really?
And so when you order them, I guess it's a shipping fee, but you got to ship them across the water, but I don't understand that. But we can get most flowers if we're given enough time to get them to use for your wedding. And there are some flowers that are very seasonal. For example, peonies are a seasonal flower, and you have to get them at a certain time.
Okay.
And sweet peas, which, you know, are very pretty flowers. But we can mostly get anything that you want if we have enough time to plan for.
Okay. Now, is there a flower you've noticed is very popular that people order?
I would say the hydrangea is probably the most common used. You know, lilies and roses, but there are other flowers that we like to use, such as orchids, the different type of orchids, cymbidium orchids, dendrobium, oncidium. They work up so good and so pretty. And one thing we always try to do is make each bride special. We want every bride to be different from the next one. You know, we want it to be unique.
That's wonderful. Real quick, where are you guys located?
We're located at 185 Glen Arvin, out at Quail Pines.
Okay, we're going to be back in just a little bit talking more with Darryl Humphreys, and we're going to find out what happens when you want to get a consultation and kind of go from there and work out your whole wedding. We'll stick around, be right back. Welcome back to Good Day on this Thursday morning. We're back with Mr. Darryl Humphreys from Flowers by Darryl, and we've been learning all about what is needed for a wonderful, beautiful wedding in the area of Flowers. But we want to know, budget is a very important thing, and everybody has a certain amount they're able to spend. So when it comes to flowers, where do you feel, in your professional opinion, is the most important place that you need to have flowers?
Well, when you have a budget, which is a very good thing to have because weddings will snowball if you don't have some type of budget. But if you're on a minimal budget and you want to cover all your bases, I would say minimize on the ceremony part.
Okay.
Then spend most of your money at the reception and maybe on your body flowers. That way you've got all your bases covered. You're going to spend most of your time at the reception, usually 2 to 3 hours, where you only spend about 20 or 30 minutes at the church. So you want your most showing point to be taken at the reception because that's where you're going to spend most of your time.
Those are some really good tips. And you mentioned body flowers. What are those?
But what we call body flowers are flowers like the bride's bouquets, the hand flowers that the mothers carries, the boutonnieres, and that type of thing. You want to make sure that we can cover that for you because that can get sort of on the expensive side when you use expensive flowers, or what we call the high-end flowers. But you can work around that budget and you can have beautiful flowers if we just work at it,
And do brides, can they come to you and say, I was picturing this, and then they tell you about their dream of all the flowers and you can just like whoop and whip it up? How does that work?
Well, I like it when they come with their ideas. That gives us a place to start.
Great.
I like to take their ideas and just give me a few minutes and I can really expand on it. I can give them ideas that we need to make it look great and see what we can do with it.
Wonderful. Well, I want to show off this one bouquet real quick, but tell us real quick where you're located.
I'm located in Lee County, out in Quail Pine Subdivision. I have a shop that's behind my home. I do not have a showroom. We have a workroom, and that's where we create all these beautiful things. And we'd love to take your project and just see what we can do about expanding, making it look great, making you happy, making this your day. We're all about making that day great for the bride.
There you go. We sure appreciate you coming on this morning. Just lovely, lovely work that you've done. We're going to go on over to Chris now.